Welcome back to Learn, Share and Repeat with me, Peter Rising. Great to see you again, and if it's your first time visiting the channel, a very warm welcome. It's nice to finally meet you. If you are new, please do me a massive favor and hit the subscribe button down below and make sure you hit that notifications bell as you do so. You have no idea how much that helps me. Right, well, this video is all part of our Learn SC-400 exam prep series. This is all about compliance, all about Microsoft Purview, and today we are going to be looking at Microsoft Purview or Office 365 message encryption. We're getting right into the realms of Exchange Online, which takes me way back. It's where I started in my Office 365 learning journey way back when. So I'm excited to get into it and see all the good stuff. Let's check it out right now. So let's check back with the study guide for exam SC-400. We are in the first large section, Implement Information Protection, and we've been through sensitive info types, trainable classifiers, and sensitivity labels. The final subsection of this opening larger section is Design and Implement Encryption for Email Messages. Three little sub-bullet points that we need to look at here. Design an email encryption solution based on the available methods in Microsoft 365. Implement Microsoft Purview message encryption and implement Microsoft Purview advanced message encryption. Okay, and after we've completed this, we'll be on to another large section, which is all about implementing DLP. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's look at the email encryption solutions that we have, starting with design an email encryption solution based on the available methods. Let's take a look and see what we've got. So let's get rid of that AI skills challenge. We don't want that cluttering up the screen. This is all about email encryption and how Microsoft 365 uses it. So what have we got? M365 delivers multiple encryption options to help you meet your business needs for email security. And this article, which I'm looking at here, presents 3 ways to encrypt email in Office 365. So what are the options? We have the most common now, the newest Microsoft Purview message encryption, although this can be quite misleading because it doesn't actually reside within Microsoft Purview itself, within the Microsoft Purview portal at compliance.microsoft.com. You do this from the Exchange Admin Center. So we've got Purview message encryption, we've got secure multi-purpose internet mail extensions, or SMIME, or S-MIME, and we've got Information Rights Management, IRM. Okay, how does Microsoft 365 use email encryption? So, encryption is the process by which information is encoded so that only authorized recipients can decode and consume that information. M365 uses encryption in 2 ways, in the service and as a customer control. In the service, encryption is used in Microsoft 365 by default. You don't have to configure anything. For example, Microsoft 365 uses Transport Layer Security, or TLS, to encrypt the connection or session between 2 servers. And here's how email encryption typically works. A message is encrypted or transformed from plain text into unreadable ciphertext, either on the sender's machine or by a central server while the message is in transit. The message remains in ciphertext whilst it's in transit in order to protect it from being read in case the message is intercepted. Once the message is received by the recipient, the message is transformed back into readable plain text in one of 2 ways. First, the recipient's machine uses a key to decrypt the message, or secondly, a central server decrypts the message on behalf of the recipient after validating the recipient's identity. Let's compare the email encryption options available in Office 365. We have the email encryption technology here listed at the top, that's OME. We've got IRM and S-MIME. We've already discussed those. And we get lengthy descriptions here about what they are all about. So I will not drain this table. I will link to it in the description so you can see yourself what it's all about. And as we scroll down this article, we can see the different types of encryption available, and we can get links to understand in more depth what they mean. Okay, so why is message encryption used? Well, people often use email to exchange sensitive information such as financial data, legal contracts, etc., etc. As a result, mailboxes can become repositories of large amounts of potentially sensitive info, and information leakage can become a serious threat to organizations. With message encryption, organizations can send and receive encrypted email messages between people inside and outside that organization, and it works with Outlook.com, Yahoo, Gmail, and other email services. Email message encryption helps ensure that only intended recipients can view message content. Now, an important part here, how message encryption works, and it goes on to say here that I'll highlight, the rest of this article applies to Microsoft Purview message encryption. Office 365 message encryption, or OME, was deprecated. That's an important thing to remember here. Microsoft Purview message encryption is an online service that's built on Microsoft Azure Rights Management, which is part of Azure Information Protection. I really wish they wouldn't still call it that in some articles. To me, it's now Microsoft Information Protection. But anyway, I digress. This service includes encryption, identity, and authorization policies to help secure your email. And you can encrypt messages by using rights management templates, the do not forward option, and the encrypt only option. You might remember from sensitivity labels, the do not forward option and the encrypt only option are present in user-defined sensitivity labels. Okay, so users can then encrypt email messages and various attachments by using these options. And we get links to a full list of supported attachment types there, which is obviously useful to know. I would take the trouble to understand those file types that are supported, because that is a potential exam question. So as an admin, you can also define mailflow rules to apply this protection. For example, you can create a rule that requires the encryption of all messages addressed to a specific recipient, or that contains specific words in the subject line, and also specify that recipients can't copy or print the contents of the message. So unlike the previous version of OME, the new capabilities provide a unified sender experience, whether you're sending mail inside your organization or to recipients outside of Microsoft 365. Now, when they're referring to the previous version of OME here and the new capabilities of Purview message protection, this is where things get a little bit confusing to me, because it's not very well defined in the Exchange Admin Center to my liking, if you like. Because if we go to that admin center at admin.exchange.microsoft.com, make sure you're logged in as an appropriate Exchange administrator. In my case, I'm in as a global admin. You'll see quite brightly here at the top that Office 365 message encryption will be retired in July 2023 and replaced by Microsoft Purview message encryption. And starting May 2023, so this is in the past now, all existing rules that use Office 365 message encryption will automatically start using Microsoft Purview message encryption. So we'll park that for a second. Let's go back to, which article do we need? Let's get to set up Microsoft Purview message encryption. So there are some things we need to make sure that are in place in order to use Purview message encryption. You've got to verify that Azure Rights Management is active. You can do that from another link here, which I will put in the description, and you have to check via a PowerShell command that is activated or not. So that's quite simple to do to see that that service is activated or not, and to activate it as needed. So what you also need to look at is configure management of your Azure Information Protection tenant key. Actually, you don't have to do this. It's an optional step. So allowing Microsoft to manage the root key for AIP is the default setting and recommended best practice for most organizations. And if this is the case for you, you don't need to do anything, but be aware of that. Be aware of that. verify Microsoft Purview message encryption configuration in Exchange Online PowerShell. So you can verify that your tenant is properly configured to use the Microsoft Purview message encryption in the PowerShell. So connect to the Exchange Online PowerShell using an account with global admin permission. So you're going to need that global admin to connect to the Exchange Online PowerShell, and then run the get IRM configuration commandlet. You should see a value of strue, which indicates that that is configured for your tenant. If it is not true, you can use the set-IRM configuration to set the value to $true to enable that encryption. Then you can run the test IRM configuration commandlet using this syntax here. So this is testing that with sender, email address, recipient, email address. So you can copy that in and run that. So there's an example here of what that actually will look like. So test IRM configuration -sender, security admin at contoso.com, -recipient, security admin at contoso.com. So that's what you'd be running. And for sender and recipient, use the email address of any user in your M365 tenant, and your results should be similar to what you've got in this output here. Results, acquiring RMS templates, and then we've got a pass and verify, encryption, pass. You should see a nice overall result of pass there if you run that. Fantastic. And of course, replace your own organization name there instead of Contoso. Wonderful. Okay, fantastic. The next steps are to define mail flow rules to use Microsoft Purview message encryption. This is where I get a little bit of a problem with how this is labeled in the Exchange Admin Center, because it's telling us to apply Office 365 message encryption and rights protection. That to me is no. I wish Microsoft would have changed that to say. It's very confusing because in their own documentation and within the portal itself, they are telling us that OME has been deprecated, replaced by Purview message encryption. So, but you still have to go with that older definition to apply the Purview message encryption. Very frustrating and misleading to me. Very confusing. But this is what it's telling us to do. Go into the Exchange Admin Center, go to Mail Flow and Rules, and then you can create or modify a rule, and let's do this. Let's do exactly that in the Exchange Admin Center. So we are in Rules right here under Mail Flow, and we can add a rule, and we can create a new rule just blank from whatever we want to define it as. Or we've got some quick shortcuts here with some defined, and this one here, apply Office 365 message encryption and rights protection to messages. This is actually going to do the Purview. This is actually Purview message protection. So you can see my my problem with that. But if we do that, it'll go to here and it'll pre-populate that for you, just to show you if you do it in a blank way. It's essentially the same thing here. So encrypt emails to peter.rising@outlook.com, for example. Apply this rule if the recipient is, and you can see lots of options here. The recipient is this person, and I'll put in peter.rising@outlook.com. There we go, and let's save that. Then what do we want to do? What do we want to do? If this, then do the following. We want to modify the message security. There's lots of other options here. Mail flow rules are very powerful. Make sure you understand them when you're using them and what the implication of them is. So the recipient is, sorry, that's wrong. Do the following. Modify the message security. And what we want to do here is apply Office 365 message encryption and rights protection. There's other options here. I mean, we could apply Office, the previous version of OME. So you can see the distinction is there. You can apply that, or you can remove the previous version of OME. I just really don't like the way that is described. But here we go. We can select an RMS template. So we can select highly confidential all employees, etc., etc., etc. Or we can go for encrypt or do not forward. Let's go for encrypt. Let's save that. We can have an exception there if it were relevant. I mean, it's not relevant in the case of one recipient, I would say, but you can do exceptions as well. And then you can go ahead and click next. So you can put some rule settings in place. You can enforce it, switching it on completely. You can test it with policy tips or test it without policy tips. So very much would encourage you test very diligently and make sure it works before you do it. The severity of the rule, low, medium, high, not audit or not specified. So we can make sure you have that there. You can activate this rule on a certain date and time and deactivate it on another certain date and time. So if this is a temporary rule, you have that capability. You can stop processing further rules in relation to this scenario if you want to, and you can defer the message if the rule processing doesn't complete. You can match sender address in message or for the header, the envelope, or the header or envelope. So choices there. And you can put some comments in for the rule as well. Review and finish, and click finish, and your rule will be created. I won't do it because I don't want to actually do that in my particular tenant. So that is how you do that to modify the message security. So that is all about setting up Microsoft Purview message encryption. Okay, let's just check back. What have we got to do there? We've got to implement that message encryption for Microsoft Purview. There's also in Microsoft Purview advanced message encryption as well. What is all that about? Okay, I've got a few pages open here, and then we get to advanced message encryption. Let's find out all about advanced message encryption. What is different about this? So advanced message encryption is included in Microsoft 365 Enterprise E5. So up until this point, everything that you've seen will be up to E3 capabilities. What we're looking at here, you'll need E5 licensing for. If your organization has a subscription that does not include advanced message encryption for Purview, you can purchase it with these SKUs here as add-ons and certain scenarios. So you know what you need to do to get it if you're not at that level of licensing. And advanced message encryption helps organizations to meet compliance obligations that require more flexible controls over external recipients and their access to encrypted emails. With advanced message encryption in O365, you can control sensitive emails shared outside the organization with automatic policies and track those activities through the encrypted message portal access logs. You can configure these policies to identify sensitive information types such as PII, financial or health IDs, or you can use keywords to enhance protection. Once you configure those policies, you can pair the policies with custom branded email templates and then add an expiration date for the extra control of emails that fit the policy. So we've actually already seen that. We've got that expiration date there for those policies. So that is actually an advanced feature, it would seem. So also admins can further control encrypted emails accessed externally through a secure web portal by revoking access to the email at any time. So there's some tips here how to get started. So you've got to have the subscription. If you don't, then this is what you need. You're not limited to a single branding template. Instead, you can create and use multiple branding templates. Adding custom branding also lets you enable tracking a revocation of encrypted messages. So for information, see adding your organization's brand to encrypted messages. Let's just open that up and we'll have that as a link for you. When you use the custom branding, external recipients receive a notification email that contains a link to the OME portal. And the mail flow rule determines which branding template the notification email and OME portal use. And this way, your secure content isn't sent outside your organization. You can only revoke messages and apply expiration dates to messages that users receive through the portal. In other words, email that has a custom branding template applied. And for more information, you can get access to lots of these learn links that you know I love. Okay, so setting an expiration date for email encrypted by advanced message protection. So we've already seen that in action. Revoke email encrypted by advanced message protection. So let's take we've got that one open up there. Encrypt message portal activity log by Microsoft Purview Advanced. So lots of good links there, but the revoked one here, so this tells you all about how you can revoke encrypted emails that you can't revoke. So here we can see an experience where the message has been revoked by a sender in advanced message protection, and how you do that, how to revoke that encrypted message. That is done by Outlook on the web in your sent folder. You can browse to the message you want to revoke. If the mail is revocable, you'll see the remove external access option, as we can see here in this example, and then it's revoked once you do that. So lots of good content here, and let's just go back to the rules here. This is where it all happens. This is where it's all controlled from, and here we see the custom branding that we talked about earlier in some of the review of these pages, and you can apply custom branding under certain rule conditions. So apply this rule if, do the following, apply custom branding to the OME. Customize rights protection message with one of the options here from a template. So you've got OME, well, there's only one option there. So I'm interested to know where you configure the template from. That's something we need to find out. So I wonder if we can find that out somewhere in the documentation. We need to find that out. And there's actually a Learn document here, which I will link. Add your organization's brand to your Purview message encryption encrypted messages. So it tells you all about how to do that here. And you can use the get OME configuration and set OME configuration commandlets in Exchange Online PowerShell to customize these parts of encrypted email messages. So you can configure introductory text, disclaimer text, URL for your organization's privacy statement, the text in the encrypted message portal, the logo that appears in the email message and encrypted message portal, or whether you want to use a logo at all, background color in the email message and encrypted message portal. And you can also revert back to the default look and feel at any time. And if you'd like more control, use the advanced message encryption to create multiple templates for encrypted emails. Use these templates to control parts of the end user experience, such as whether recipients can use Google, Yahoo, and Microsoft accounts to sign in to the encryption portal. And you can use these templates to fulfill several use cases, such as individual departments, such as finance, sales, and so on, different products, different geographical regions or countries, whether you want to allow emails to be revoked, whether you want emails sent to external recipients to expire. Working with branded templates, how do you do that? You can modify several features within a branding template and modify but not remove the default template. That's the one we just saw a few moments ago. But if you've got the advanced message encryption, you can also create, modify, and remove custom templates. Use Exchange Online PowerShell to work with one branding template at a time. So we do this by setting the OME configuration to modify the default branded template or custom branding template you created. You can create a new branding template here by doing the new OME configuration, or you can remove a configuration. And in modifying, then this is what you're actually going to be doing here. You can use the set configuration commandlet or use the following graphic and table for guidance. So showing you here exactly what you're changing when you're modifying that brand template, and you get lots of information here on how you do this for the things like the background color and the logo. So there's good examples here. Set OME configuration dash identity, configuration name. So that's the name of your template, background color, the hexadecimal color code. There we go. So we've got an example there. Set OME configuration dash identity, branding template number 1, background color, and there's the hexadecimal. So same for logos, the text name. So you get the picture. So this is a really good article indeed. And we've got some good examples here on how to do exactly that. So new branding template, there we go, custom branding template, etc., etc. So hopefully that gives you a good picture of all of the options available with message encryption. Not a huge section compared to some of the sections we've been through already in our implementing information protection part of the study guide. So there we go. We'll move forward onto a whole new section next time, which is all about one of my favorite subjects of Microsoft Purview, which is implementing DLP. Amazing stuff. So many options there with message encryption, and it ties into everything we've learned so far with sensitivity labels and all that good stuff. And we've got so much good stuff coming up too with DLP on the way. I hope you're seeing the progression of the journey, the logical way the exam guide is laid out. It really is very, very good the way Microsoft have put this together. The only thing I didn't like about that one, as you probably got the impression of, was the labeling of things in the Exchange Admin Center. They made such a big deal about OME being deprecated and replaced with Purview message encryption, but then they don't call it that in the portal. They keep the naming convention the same. That is super confusing as far as I'm concerned, but there you go. Right, okay, another video done. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit that like button. It helps me so much. You have no idea. It takes a second, free to do so. The same principles apply to the subscribe button. Please give it a click, hit the notifications bell, and let's grow this community together. And if you really like what I do and want more of my content, consider clicking the join button as well. There are lots of different levels of membership that you can select from. Find the one that is right for you, and it helps support me and grow my channel and reach that wider audience. Amazing. Okay, until next time, you take care. See you real soon. Bye-bye.